We suck again!
Good evening and welcome to the Joust. My name is Nagy. I'm here as always with my co-host Liam McNeil on this cold, freezing, sultry evening.
Oh,
Liam.
it's a sultry evening. It's, you know, a bit of a beautiful, deep Canadian winter of an evening, which is a very romantic time. You know, you get in, you light the fire, you huddle around the fire.
Yeah.
Winter's a very romantic time, you know.
You got to huddle.
You got to huddle
to survive.
Which is why rugby league is essentially the most romantic sport, because so many huddles. You know, you have a break in play, you do a quick huddle, you score a try, quick huddle as you're going back, you concede a try, quick huddle behind the post. I've been saying it for years. Rugby league is the last bastion of romanticism in sport.
So much to the point of which we have a scrum that does nothing else but a huddle.
It's fantastic, you know, and it's great to see. As much as people, you know, like to rag on the scrum and it's useless, it's not useless. It brings the boys together.
Yes.
Because too often in rugby league, the boys are apart.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe this isn't politically correct in this time of COVID, encouraging people to stand close to each other.
They've all been tested.
They've all been tested. We've all been tested.
I've been tested. I've been tested.
Nagy's been tested. I've been tested.
Up the schnoz.
Up the schnoz. It wasn't very
back the
comfortable.
throat.
Went to the brain.
Yeah.
Nudged the brain a little. But I'm all for a bit more romanticism in rugby league.
I'm blind in my left eye now. They went too far.
You got a contact glaucoma.
No, I found out recently that they have a clean zone of tested people in the NRL, and then they have a dirty zone. And what I can imagine that is the clean zone is the players.
I've been to the dirty zone with you a few times now.
Hey-o! Woo! Yeah, we better not touch anything at the soundboard.
No.
But then they got the dirty zone, which I imagine is just, you know, the people coming into the stadium. And of course also, you know, the real estate agents, the car salesmen, the lawyers, they're all in that dirty zone.
Yes, the slimy underbelly of society.
The Daily Telegraph journalists. They've been in the dirty zone for years.
Oh no, Buzz is going to give us a call again.
They will. He's going to be. Oh, I won't accept his calls because I don't like the man. I don't know the man. I've never met the man.
But we don't like him.
We don't like him. We don't like him at all. And I tell you what, another thing we don't like, which maybe the weather's representing a bit of a drop in form by the Newcastle Knights, Liam. You know, we came out with so much excitement. It was 7,500 people there, but it may as well have been 17,500 with the kind of noise they were making.
Look, I was there at the game, sitting in the Eastern Stand, Bay 2, and there was a feeling, there was a sense of grandeur, you know? There was noise being made, like you said. It's incredible how loud a Newcastle chant comes through for 7,500 people. It's a real testament to how we're the greatest rugby league fans in the world, quite obviously, but also to the acoustics of McDonald Jones. You know, you got to give a quick rap to the sound engineer who clearly put a lot of time in working in that stadium to maximise the acoustics purely for the Newcastle chant.
The stadium sort of hugs and it bounces around the sound to make it extra loud. But the sound wasn't enough quite on the weekend, Liam. Going down to the top of the table team in Parramatta Eels, you know, we were always fighting an uphill battle. You know, we've talked before, but was it actually uphill?
I forgot the spirit level.
Has anyone had the level out there?
No one's got the level out. Well, as the official spirit level measurers, we dropped the ball there.
One of our many titles, but
we really dropped the ball.
I said, I forgot it. They said, you can do it on your phone. I said, that's not good enough. I want to see the bubble.
Well, look, we're on a lot of boards. We're on a lot of boards, a lot of committees. We're busy men. We didn't have time to get the spirit level out. Just this once.
No.
And you know what? They didn't send anyone instead.
No, they just said...
They're the only ones qualified
They said, did you do it? And we said, yes. And they said, it's good enough. And that's rugby league for you. But I tell you what wasn't good enough, Liam, was the Newcastle Knights performance against Parramatta Eels. We're going to get into that. But first, it's time for a little segment we'll call The News. Powerful news week, Liam. What's happening?
Very powerful news week. The first one, Knights fans, will come as a shock, perhaps.
Shock?
To Knights fans, a shock.
Shocks don't usually finish with like an end. A shock?
I think I answered my own question there, and in fact, it's not a shock at all.
Not a shock at all.
The way I've spoken implies that I'm not shocked whatsoever. But bit of sad news. Herman, the man so nice, they named him Herman, will be going to the Gold Coast Titans for 2021. Now, obviously, the Gold Coast Titans missed out on their bid to snare Andrew Fafita.
Yep.
No, in fact, David Fafita.
David Fafita, of course, yes. And then so they've gone. We've got another fella in mind, Herman SASA. Look, and I feel like the Knights have had so many players leave before their contracts are finished. We've had these sort of, we shouldn't have signed you in the first place, and we're happy that you're gone. And I don't think we've ever had like an amicable leave. Like you've served your contract, he's played 50 games, he's still in reasonable form, no major injuries to speak of, but his contract's finishing and we're not re-signing him, and that's okay.
It's strange, isn't it? It's a weird feeling. Usually people leave and they're upset, or people stay and they don't want to.
Sure.
But now we're a club where we can say, oh, he just left.
And we have
he was happy. He was fine.
We have to say that because there's people lining up to get in the club.
Oh, isn't it wonderful?
Tyson Frizzell, he's waiting on the bus. He's
that's
saying,
it.
you know, he's just saying, when can I come in? We said, not till next year. You have a game to play yourself.
You'd think he'd guess that, being the only person on the bus.
Yeah, you'd think so. He's
But
driving
no,
the bus.
he's been sitting on a Sid Fogs for the last 3 weeks, just waiting for the rest of the team.
So when we have a marquee forward like that, we're going to see some forwards that have bounced around between starting and bench, like our dear Herman, that is going to have to, you know, sail on to greener pastures.
Yes.
Or not so greener pastures in the form of the Titans.
Very, very brown and dead pasture, that is. It's
The sand and the soil up there,
That's
you see.
it. The water drains too quickly.
Yeah.
Again, like we said last week, turf experts, but, you know, Seabus Super Stadium, I would have done the turf entirely differently.
Yes.
See, they laid the turf north-south. What you want to do in an environment like the Gold Coast, you know, it's up there in the tropics. It's very humid.
Very.
It's warm.
Yeah.
A lot of blowings. No one's from the Gold Coast.
No one lives
You want
there.
to lay your turf west to east.
Yeah.
West to east.
West to east.
That's it, the best result you're going to get for your turf. Obviously varies from turf to turf.
Yes.
Your couch turf is going to be different to your Blue Danube turf. Of
course.
Your Sir Walter.
You wouldn't
Buffalo,
touch it.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
touch it. I would not put that on any ground.
Far too itchy.
Far too itchy. It's terrible.
It's. Do you remember when they played the American game? They went off to the States and they played the Philadelphia Eagles, I believe it was, in 2000.
There was the USA Tomahawks.
Tomahawks,
The
sorry,
Philadelphia Eagles are in fact an NFL team.
That might be correct.
Well known for Michael Vick, the quarterback, having a dogfighting ring in his basement.
That was a lesser known game against the Philadelphia team.
Tomahawks.
The Tomahawks. Look, it was. I remember they went over and they were playing on basically AstroTurf. The grass was a millimetre high, and Willie Mason completely tore every ligament in his ankle. And I wasn't too upset about it.
No,
at the time.
none of us were.
They were winning that game too. I think they were winning like 20-0 or something at half time.
All right, now we've got, as you can see here on the screen, we've got a few various types of turf that
Now, you call it couch. I've always called it cush. Is it which one?
Now
is
you've
it?
got couch and cush.
Both couch and cush.
Both couch and cush. Cush is obviously
Softer?
a bit more illegal than the couch.
Okay.
You know, so you get caught with a bag of cush in your glove box.
That's what I'm thinking.
You're
Of.
getting a few years.
That's what it is.
You're getting a few years, courtesy of the Australian government.
You see, when you've said being the horticulturalist groundsman yourself, like, oh, you know, I can't get pulled over because I got a big bag of cush in my car. I assumed you were laying some turf the next day.
I was laying turf, buddy. I was laying turf. But yes, Herman, he will be missed.
Goodbye, Herman. Thank you very much for your service. Hopefully we can squeeze another 10 quality games out of you.
Yes, and another man so nice they named him Herman. We get another Herman, that'd be great. Next in the news. Now, this is huge news. And again, it's Volandis doing it. Getting stuff done. Getting ahead of the AFL especially.
Yeah.
And telling them, you know what? Shove it. And what's happened? Now, the NRL is considering a huge undertaking. And what they want to do is to move the entire playing group, all the players,
the rugby
all the
league
coaches,
population.
the rugby league population will be moving to Queensland as part of, what did we call it, Nagy?
That's the bubble.
The bubble.
Of course, you see.
Bubble.
Trump wants to build a wall. Volandis wants to build a bubble.
Slippery Pete's working
Slippery
on the
Pete.
bubble.
That's it. You know, he's always thinking one step ahead.
That's
you know,
it.
to wall the players in, but to actually seal them over.
And that's it. He's got the dish soap. He's got a big circle thing. He's going to dip it in the dish soap.
And just try to create this thing. What if it pops?
Sorry, Liam, can we say that again?
Just creating the air. And it's what if people suffocate? It's got to be exciting to see.
There's got to be air in a bubble. Isn't that how bubbles work?
There has to be some air.
There's got to be some air in the bubble.
But yeah, he could be in charge. He could be, responsible for the biggest mass murder of the game of rugby league.
I hope the bubble doesn't hit any twigs.
No.
I know bubbles pop easily.
They do.
And I know twigs are sharp. So, this could all go pear-shaped for Mr. Volandis if he does not clean up the twigs out of Queensland.
The only kind of twigs you get are the twigs from Victoria, you know what I'm saying, hey?
What about Twiggy sticks? Remember Twiggy sticks?
Were they the meat ones?
Yeah. I think they called them pepperoni, but they were using the term pepperoni very loosely.
Heavily spiced, just floor meat.
Pork. Here we go. Up on the screen there, we have some Twiggy sticks. Now, doesn't it look fantastic? I never quite got the dichotomy between the Twiggy stick and the Cabanossi.
Yes.
They seem very...
Twiggies were thinner, though.
Twiggies were thinner, yeah. Cabanossi had a bit more meat on it.
More girth.
A bit more girth.
Would you say?
I would.
They were just this sort of
indeed.
ambiguous meat wrapped in an ambiguous skin. But, you just sort of had a go at it. You're a big jerkiesman.
Oh, love some good jerky.
And that's just chewing God knows what it's been, a cardboard. I don't know what's in there.
It depends which brand you get. Some jerkies are a very dry, very tough jerk, which I like. But then you've got some that are a very soft jerk. Your local legends, that's a soft jerk.
Yeah.
But then you've got your jerky boys from out in Toronto. Very hard jerky, very solid jerky.
They do jerky out of Newcastle.
They do jerky out of Newcastle. Butcher Boys Jerky. Check it out. Fantastic.
Send the check. Butcher Boys Jerky.
Butcher Boys cracked pepper will change your life.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. But yes, the Queensland bubble, all games will be played up there and teams will be based up there. I've got mixed feelings on this.
I know it was spoken about at the beginning of this, coming back, so this could be, we could have this rugby league community in the far north Queensland, and I tell you what, could you get more sort of petty criminals in one space? I think it would be sort of...
Not since the colonisation of Australia by literal convicts has there been more convicted criminals in one place.
It's just got to be the Wild West up there,
It's
won't it?
fantastic. I love it. I look forward to it. Put cameras on every corner.
Yeah.
Ship all the women out. Get rid of the police. Because that won't end well.
Children.
Get rid of the men.
Yeah, to get
Just
everyone
out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Hey, put a couple of cameras in there, because that really is the entertainment game, Lee. We talk about it so often, why the crowd's like, because we watch it on TV. Maybe just keep the cameras rolling. Follow the players back. You got in the sheds.
Big Brother up late.
Yes, but with the players. You can watch all the interactions.
And probably the same amount of nudity. Because Big Brother Uncut was really disappointing in how little nudity it had.
Yeah, but
given the name of the show.
It talked about nudity.
It discussed nudity. That's a good point.
That's the thing. So maybe keep the cameras rolling. Talk about the players getting nude, and just watch what happens.
See what happens.
Watch the crime.
Observe and report. Yeah. We will observe and report.
Maybe have some ex-players in there as sort of the military police of roving around.
Now I know ex-players.
Yes,
and I know that they don't like to police drinking.
No, this is the fun. You see, you give the authority to the people that are going to commit the most crime. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be a mixture of cops and Big Brother.
I hadn't even
big
thought
cops.
about that. Big cops. All right. Big Cops out in 2 weeks on Joust TV. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is an interesting one, Nagy. Danny Weidler. We normally don't like Danny Weidler. We don't like him.
I don't think I like him at all.
I don't, and which is why it behooves me, except I've used that word incorrectly.
No, use it anyway.
It buggers me as to why I'm reporting.
Behooves me. Tell you what.
I'll behoove you if you don't shut up for a second, mate. Danny Weidler has reported that Dean Pay left Belmore Stadium in his car today after announcing that he will no longer be coaching the Bulldogs.
Interesting. You see, I was there in the meeting with Dean and the Bulldogs. We welcomed them in. We said, Dean, we like you. That's why we hired you. But you're no good.
Yeah.
You never be shit. You're just like your father. And then they said, "Look, it's time to go, Dean." They said, "You're the first Big Brother. It's time to go, Dean." And then he stands up and he says, "Well, thank you very much, but you've been voted out, Dean, by the board of the Bulldogs." But who do they have? Who do they have in the coffers?
Gretel Colleen. Gretel Colleen will be taking over coaching of the Bulldogs. But before we get into Gretel, look, we've got to address the fact that. It doesn't happen often in rugby league, but when you've got a coach like Dean Pay, old Yeller, he's taken out the back.
Old Yeller, yeah.
Mr. Volandis, as we well know, being a racing man, doesn't mind taking someone out the back, putting up the curtains and hitting him with the 12 gauge. But
he loved that club so much he turned into the mascot.
And look, there's no dedication like literally turning into your mascot.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Adam O'Brien rocking some plate mail armour with a nice helmet.
Sure.
It could be a special unit in Age of Empires,
Slowly bring it in, though. Like, maybe he wears a large belt buckle just to start off with.
And then some arseless chaps, perhaps.
Just some arseless chaps, but you don't see until he gets up from the press conference that he's got absolutely no cloth around the buttocks. But then maybe some jeans that look a bit like, are they shiny? Do they glisten? Or is that metal? And then maybe a shiny jacket. And then slowly but surely introduce the breastplate.
I love it. I think it's fantastic. He'll lose a lot of weight too on a chainmail armour. It's very heavy. He's already a fit man, Adam O'Brien. He looks good. He looks very good, but he could look better.
He could look better,
He could look better.
What a classic thing he was.
Classic thing. And the last item of the news for the week. Now, this is an interesting one. Michael Maguire.
Yeah.
He's been chopping and changing his team a lot.
He has.
And I'm very interested as to why and where.
Pushed
and
the broom
when.
through or swung the axe.
Is he brooming? Is he axing? No one knows. But what he has done is he's broomed or axed, depending who you are, Luke Brooks.
Yes.
Now, we all remember Luke Brooks as... When was his debut? 7 years ago?
Yeah. He's been a young player. He's one of those players that looks like he's about 20 and has been treated like he's still up and coming for about 7 years.
Well, that first game on debut, he was compared to Andrew Johns.
Of course.
And I remember it because he was wearing the West. It was the West Heritage jersey.
Yeah.
He had, long school hot person hair. He looked so hot.
Yeah.
It's just a hunk. And then he got rid of the hair and he doesn't look near as hot.
Just looks like a regular player.
But that was it. That first game, it was like, oh my God, he's the next Andrew Johns.
Yeah.
How'd that work out for him?
Now, he's been dropped from first grade.
Yeah.
Does that ever happen to Andrew Johns? I don't think so.
No. I would say no.
Possibly not.
I would argue that no.
He's dropped from rep sides a couple of times.
Yeah,
In
fair call.
2000, Brett Camorley beat him to Australia. He's come back from an knee injury, though. But,
The less said, the better.
But, this is Maguire, much like the former coach of the Bulldogs, Dean Pay. There's a lot of chopping and changing and swapping combinations and saying, you're in, you're out. We're paying you a lot of money, but you're going to sit on the sidelines. And that's what Maguire's done with Luke Brooks. Yeah, Benji was there, and then Benji's back. The decision has been thrown around. Unlike Mary McGregor, that's just sort of just keep playing the same team, but he's getting results. I don't know.
That's only because he chopped and changed his spine 400 times over the last season and a half.
I know, but not McGregor, probably more Anthony Seibold. He's just Seibold's just done the same team. Whoever's fit, come on.
Well, that's all they've got.
That's all they've got.
We were talking before the show about the Broncos' laundry list of injuries.
Laundry list, and we discussed: is a laundry list something that should be long?
No, because there's essentially 4 kinds of laundry.
Yes.
You have your dark load.
Yes.
You have your white load.
Of course.
Sheets.
Yep.
Towels.
Yes.
That's your list.
That's the whole
list. It's a very short list. Generally, you only do maybe 2 at a time. You put the white stuff in first, transfer that to the dryer, then you get the sheets in. But again, it's a very short list.
Was this created before the basket system, where it's just the basket's full? That's when you do the wash.
I think it may well have been created before the basket system. Now, I'm no basket historian.
Yeah.
We don't claim to be basket historians. We don't know any basket historians. We had to quit, obviously, again. City of Cessnock. Versus the Joust. They've got us off baskets now. But look, it has to have something to do with the introduction of the laundry basket into, the domestic home.
Of course. Now, speaking of shit sides, Liam, the Brisbane Broncos.
Yes, please, let's.
I just have this list of players. Now, I'll just read a few of them out. Dave Fafita, still out for 2 to 3 weeks. He continues to battle the whatever injury he had. Jake Turpin, still out. / Jesse Arthurs.
Jesse Arthurs came from the Gold Coast. I believe
still
he's
out.
a centre.
Katoni Staggs, gone. He's
Future rep player.
He's got the hamstring problem that's giving him a bit of strife. And then we still got Tessie, was it?
Tessie New.
He's at risk.
Promising young fullback.
Xavier Coates is in doubt, and even Farnworth, which is a good rugby league name.
Isn't that the best? And the best part about it, he's an Englishman. And that, to me, now, I've only heard one name more English than Herbie Farnworth, and that was an English rugby union player named Richard Wigglesworth.
That's wonderful.
Richard Wigglesworth. That is the most English name I've ever heard in my life.
If you got a
Dickie Wiggs.
If you got a pair of boots and a pair of long socks, and you live around the Brisbane area, you got to give Anthony Seibold a call, because you're in with a chance.
I'd argue you got more than a chance.
You could be captain of that side.
We had to turn him down, obviously. He did give us the call.
He said, boys, you want to come back? We said we haven't played in months. Not at that level. Yeah. And so it's going to be interesting to see whether the Broncos can come out of it. I hope they don't. I hope they continue to lose.
They've been fantastic.
I know they beat the Bulldogs, but that was the worst game rugby league I've ever seen.
Yep.
It's and that almost brings us back right around. Do we have anything else in the news, Lane?
That's all for the news for this week, Nagy. If you have any more news, Jousters, it's too late, so don't submit it.
Next week. We'll talk about it next week. This game, Liam, I know we've been circling around it like a helicopter on meth.
We've been circling the bowl, we've got to hit flush, and we've got to go down deep into the S-bend of this rugby league game.
Where did it go wrong?
In the S-bend somewhere.
The S-bend, it's just clogged. It's
so clogged. We need to get one of those snakes that the what do you call the people who deal with pipes? Plumbers. The plumbers. They have the snake.
You stick the snake down there and it just pushes everything further down the pipe.
Yes, which is what we've got to do. We've got to move the clog further down so we can deal with it later.
Yes.
We don't want to deal with the clog now.
No.
We want to deal with the clog later.
what went right for us, Liam, in that game? I know this is what I believe, Liam. I think that there's, it's made up of two things: defense and attack, right? And I think the defense, for the most part, was all right.
It was not bad.
There was that
pretty good.
There was the one try that was let through pretty softly off a Junior Paulo offload, and then that created a bit of an overlap with Reid Marnie playing a very good game against us.
Didn't he have a great game, Reid?
Something I've never seen the boy before.
Now, there was some worry for Parramatta going into the game. Obviously, no Mitchell Moses.
None.
But Reid, he filled in admirably, playing more of that Josh Hodgson, Cameron Smith role, playmaking from dummy half.
Yes.
And we didn't seem to have an answer for that.
No,
altogether too well. So, Reid Marnie, future Maroons 9.
And of course, they caught us after a high tackle from Mitchell Pearce on the 5th tackle of Clint Gutherson, possibly going to be cast as the next James Bond.
That was the most under 12 shit I have ever seen in my goddamn life. And I played under 12.
Yes.
And I still didn't see.
You watched a lot of under
11s.
There
you go.
You watched a lot of you watched a lot of unders 12 football.
I did.
And once it was given, and then it was play on, and you see these quick taps happen. Also, when the rule was really introduced, and then they caught us not only napping, not only with their pants down, but we were pants down napping, which is not a comfortable way to sleep.
No,
Liam. No, it was very
gets cold.
Yeah, it's terrifyingly freezing.
Your bum in the air while you're sleeping. Your
Something
bum
like that, like just with your head down,
bum up.
And look, what they managed to do, look, you could say was it some gamesmanship from them, or did they outplay us to the rules? But what they managed to do is get another 6 points on us. They take us from a 4-point all into 6 points. The only try scored in the second half, and that was enough for them to win the game.
And it was interesting that Sivo scored it, because up until this point, Sivo, he hadn't had much of an impact. I think the Knights have done a fairly decent job to limit his impact in the game.
Bit of a power move by our very own Edmund Bryan, the man with the large belt buckle, was to bring in Tautau Moga, a man that had not been seen in years around Newcastle.
I've forgotten all about him.
And, he was, he had some misdemeanor crimes, some petty crimes.
Who hasn't slapped a cabbie on Boxing Day after the races? Do not ye throw glass stones if you live in a glass house. Whatever that saying is, Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. It's a good Catholic podcast.
Yeah, of course.
There's going to be more Bible quotes coming at you, Jouse, so live with it.
There's, and then, we've, from that point, it just seemed like we didn't have any answers to score. We had opportunities, but we didn't have the answers.
Plenty of questions.
Questions were thrown, but I have a firm belief that Parramatta played us well. They knew the channels of attack. They came up and in, and by God, we tried to get outside of them with 4 forward passes in the first half. I'll count them 4, ladies and gentlemen, and an additional forward pass into the 5th, all trying to do the same thing, and that was get the ball wide.
Weren't they dubious?
Dubious.
You
could flip a coin, and you'd still come out with better odds than it was that was a forward pass. Every one of those 5, not one of them got away. Not one of them you thought, look, just give us one.
Just one. One would do. It was a weird game, though. The 50-50 calls didn't go
necessarily
either way.
They were bad on both sides. Yeah.
It was really strange. Bad 50-50 calls on both sides. Now, this was a beautiful try, Andrew McCulloch, but the discussion that this try has raised. Now, we'll see McCulloch goes over the goal line on his back. He wrestles the ball over to be on his front.
Yes.
While he's got 3 eels all over him. Obviously, great feat of strength.
Yeah.
But what some people have asked...
2 of them.
When does the tackle become completed?
Interesting.
Because he was wrestling for a long time. And I think the tackle should become completed as soon as the Newcastle Knights score a try.
Absolutely.
That's when the tackle is completed.
That's when you give them every opportunity to get that ball down.
Every opportunity to get
I
that
think
ball
if you
down.
find yourself on your back, you've got the right to do a bit of a swivel.
Well, that's it.
A bit of razzle dazzle, if you will.
The traditional held call is made when the ball carrying arm touches the ground. Of
course.
Now, if Andrew McCulloch's on his back, how's the ball carrying arm going to touch the ground? He's not held.
He's got to give it a bloody good opportunity to do so.
Yes.
There was a game that, as you said, there was calls going left, right, and centre, but by God, we had some opportunities. They shut us all down. There was things that we could have done better.
But what we were talking about, Nagy, was the attack.
The attack
now,
stifled.
Nagy, our attack was stifled. We seemed to have a plan A.
Yes.
In attack, we seemed to have a plan A.
We did.
But what happens when plan A fails, Nagy?
Or you think you go to B?
No, you keep trying plan A. You keep trying and you keep trying until the game's over and you've lost.
That's right.
Yes.
You could say the clock beat us, but I'd say also Parramatta Eels beat us with more points on the board.
Look, I'm no mathematician. But yes,
no, yes,
absolutely.
10 is more than 4.
It is. Again, no mathematician, but still.
There was opportunities there that we could have altered, changed. I know Lockie Fitz poked his nose through and got chopped down beautifully by their halfback.
Jay Field had a field day on Lockie Fitzgibbon. Every time Lockie ran that outline, Field just chopped him at the hips.
But he did do the
like
hit.
a lumberjack.
He span and then he tried to get the ball away on one of his games. I think better sides at Newcastle Knights. If we're going to learn from this, we've got to think that sort of worked. We just got to add something to
Lockie
it.
needs a man off the shoulder.
Yes. Yes. And Lockie needs a man. It's like father wants a wife. Lockie needs a man.
Lockie needs a man.
Off the shoulder.
And you know who's that man? Me and you.
Yeah.
We are that man.
There was also some things, obviously, like we looked at the Parramatta game, it was a dubious end, and then we remember it as something brilliant. I sort of dig up into my, like, what word am I looking for? Carte
blanche.
Carte blanche.
No.
All of the compartmentalize. What?
Carpe diem.
Oh, Christ. I put all of the winning games in a section of my head that can easily access.
Osland carpets.
Yeah, Osland carpets. All of them. There's a sale on at the moment, I believe. Osland carpets.
Anything at Romani's Rug Gallery.
Send the check.
The closing sale has been going on for 20 years.
If Tex Hoy is onside during this wonderful play, and gee, look, he's like Fred Astaire here. Look at this. He's not only put the ball down, but then he manages to dive and then return to his feet as if he'd never dove whatsoever. It was remarkable. He put the showmanship. He put the showmanship before actually remembering to be onside. But
which I'm all about showmanship. You know, as growing up in Newcastle, you know, we had tap dogs.
Yeah.
So to us, showmanship was a very important part of the working class steel town, which most steel towns don't have. They don't have a big nationally recognised all-male tap dancing crew.
Wollongong doesn't have it.
No, they don't have it. And that's why Newcastle is just a better place.
Now, you'd wonder why Tap Dogs, as a movie about dancing, is a better... Bootmen.
Bootmen. That was the film.
Tap Dogs was
the ensemble.
The ensemble
Bootmen was
the film. Bootmen is a better film about Newcastle than the movie Newcastle.
I never saw that.
I'd give it a miss.
It didn't strike me as anything too outrageously wonderful. There's
one part in Bootmen where Adam Garcia, we got some footage here, and of course, famously the man from Avatar. No, the fella from Avatar.
Yeah.
That fella. There,
Sam Worthington.
Sam Worthington, who dies in that. Spoiler alert, he dies. But he remembers his time filming in Newcastle.
Good, just there on the left.
Basically, the whole thing's filmed in Carrington. It's wonderful. But at one stage, is it Adam Garcia that I'm remembering correctly? No, the protagonist goes,
Dean.
See you later, guys. I'm off to Sydney. And he leaves Carrington, but then he flies down on a motorcycle down, like, Scenic Drive by the beach. And I think that's a shit way to go to Sydney.
It's a really bad way to go to Sydney.
If you're leaving from Carrington. But, you know, but at the same time, it's got everything you like. There's been punching, there's dancing. It's basically fannies on a Wednesday night.
I feel like there was the Knights player in it.
Yeah,
Butterfield? Was Tony Butterfield in it?
I feel like maybe it was Sarge. Was Sargent in it?
Yeah,
well, we do know
someone big, and they played like an intimidating kind of a thug of a guy.
We do know Knights alumni have some form when it comes to acting. Of course, our very dear friend of the show, Bill Peden.
Bill Peden.
It's in Young Einstein, one of Yahoo Serious's finest.
Yeah, we asked him why he was in it, and he didn't really give us a clear answer.
He didn't.
No.
I think it was just because it was being filmed in Cessnock, and they asked all the local children. Didn't Yahoo Serious have a really short window of being relevant?
Yeah, he really did.
What was it? We had Young Einstein.
Yep.
What was the other one?
Ned
Young
Kelly.
Frankenstein?
No, the Ned Kelly.
Ned Kelly one?
Young Kelly. I don't know.
They all seem to be... Basically, Yahoo Serious's shtick seemed to be making young versions of old stories. So Young Einstein...
Reckless
Kelly.
And he filmed that in Nelson Bay, a lot of it, right? And then he filmed the other one in Cessnock. Good on him for bringing some, you know...
Bringing it local. Keeping it local, I like that.
Keeping it local. But
and he's a good fan of the show, so actually we'll
can we see if we can get Yahoo Serious maybe just on for a chat?
Yeah.
We've already got Billy Peden.
Exactly.
We may as well push for Yahoo.
Yeah. I think it'd be foolish not to.
I don't think he's doing much anymore. Liam, where are we going?
Back to the game. We didn't even finish talking about the game. Interesting. Now, coming into next week. Let's go straight into coming into next week. Now, we've got a few injury concerns.
Yeah.
Daniel Safidi is the first and foremost of said concerns. Now, how do we replace Daniel Safidi? Now,
if only we had someone similar to him.
Similar
attributes.
build,
Yeah.
similar attributes.
Genetically identical, possibly.
Genetically identical. Same surname would be ideal because then it's easier to change the team sheets.
Of course, yeah.
But you know who I was thinking of?
Yeah.
Who fills all those criteria?
Who have we got?
Pasami Saulo.
Pasami Saulo, of course. What a player. And I tell you what.
Fantastic. And you know what? His running game has improved drastically on last year. He runs hard. He hits the line hard.
And he's the kind of player that we want back in that side.
Absolutely.
And we've also welcomed back a few more players. One of them being Mitch Barnett, our very own enforcer, which was good to see. But also having basically neck surgery, I think in not the off season, but the part of the middle of the season. So that's not good around nerve and shoulders and necks.
Season.
Yeah, look, I'm always worried when players come back, especially if they play a rough and tumble type of game, and they come back and they've had things done around necks and things. I just don't feel like they come back at the same sort of aggression.
So you know who's never going to have to worry about that?
Mitch Barnett.
No, Brody, head and shoulders, knees and toes.
The druff.
There's no neck. The druff.
The druff.
The druff. He's got heads, he's got shoulders, he's got knees, he's got toes, he's got no neck.
He was out there doing his best again, Brody Jones. Good to see good local boys out there, but he drops out of the side.
Yes.
For Mitch Barnett, for Sione Matautia, another Newcastle boy.
And an important one. Connor Watson.
Not quite a Newcastle boy, but we'll accept the vote.
Terrigal Sharks.
Yeah. Avoca Beach, he spent a lot of time around there, harassing Andrew Johns as well.
I did, yes.
And it's, I think he is the key. He's the linchpin on how we beat South Sydney, because Andrew McCulloch, he's an absolute workhorse.
A workhorse. A toiler. An honest toiler.
5 foot tall. He could be in the room at the moment, at the desk. We wouldn't even know.
Oh, no?
But I tell you...
Is he under my can? Who's to tell?
50 plus tackles a game.
60, in fact, with one miss.
One miss. See, that's the kind of thing you can't buy.
Except we did buy it.
We bought him. Effectively, we bought that kind of talent. But
so you can.
Connor Watson adds something else, I think. I think we're going to rotate Connor Watson on, maybe even keep McCulloch out there, and just say, Connor, when you see something, a little sniff around on your half, go for
That's it. Play that middle, bouncing, running, smacking, hitting, kicking people in the nuts. That role.
And I feel like that's going to take the pressure off both Pearce and Ponga and all the things we say like we don't have any answers for. I think we create something else through the middle and complements those two players' games.
Agreed. Fantastic. I love it. I love everything about it. I love having Connor Watson back.
It's not necessarily about what the players that are out there can do better, but it's about what we can add to that to make our attack more diverse across the board, because that's what the Eels did to us. They made their attack more diverse with Reid Marnie. I'd never heard of the man before, and then suddenly he's at the forefront of my mind. There, the forefront, not there.
That empty cavity.
The empty cavity.
Not the front left quadrant.
It's like I got that, and I got the plate, of course, in the head.
Going through security with Nagy at an airport, nightmare.
It's just beeps.
So much metal. So much metal. But quickly to round it out now, one I want to talk to you about, Tautau Moga retains his spot in the centres. I like it.
Yeah.
He had a very good game coming back after, 18 months no football?
Something like that. What did he do with his life?
I go slap some cabbies probably.
I think he's on the bus now.
He's on the bus, sitting next to Tyson Frizzell, wondering where is everyone? What's going on? But yeah, no, I like Moga back. I think he had a great game. Ran for 100 and some metres.
118 or 14 runs, I think, something like that. He was a dominant runner. Big boy.
Big body, big body. But where do we win it next week, Nagy?
Well, I think I may have mentioned that a little bit before, but I said I think it's going to be through the middle, adding with the Connor Watson. The Connor Watson element.
Yes,
he's the linchpin. Number 14.
What we've got to do now as well, you've got your Damien Cook, you've got your Cam Murray. You know how you nullify those two?
Yeah.
Kick their forwards' asses.
Yes.
If they haven't got a forward pack that are moving forward, that are building momentum, you can nullify Cook and Cameron Murray much easier. Now they've been sort of worked out. But if their forward pack gets on a roll, Cook and Murray could be very, very dangerous. So that middle third of the field, tighten, compress, compose, lock, build outwards.
Have we created a curse for teams now, Liam? I'm having a little bit of a look back. And I'm thinking to myself, we've had not only like a lucky draw when we haven't played too many of the top sides often, but what we have managed to do is play teams without their marquee player. Now, we're playing Souths without Latrell Mitchell. I know his form's been up and down, but he's not there.
I would argue it's been down.
We play... That's true. We've played Manly without Tom Travojevic. We played Penrith without Nathan Cleary. We played Parramatta without
Mitch
Moses.
Moses.
This is becoming a bit of a... have you got the Knights next week? Because your best player's about to go down or be suspended for
It was
doing
like in
something
the
very
old
silly.
days. Remember, you playing the Knights next week, they're going to play you right into form.
Yeah.
You beat the Knights, then you win 6 on the trot. It seemed to happen a lot. But big out. Latrell Mitchell, Alex Johnson moves to fullback. I used to like Latrell. I don't like Latrell.
But he's not playing. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't like him. No. So I'm glad he's not playing. Now, let's move on to the
time to open your sack. We don't have a sack. We used to have the sack thing, but no, what does it say?
What does it sound like?
Thank you very much. All day.
Open his... Open your sack.
Open the sack all day. First question comes from Marcus Christensen. Marcus Christensen asks, does Guerra have incriminating photos of the coach? How he continues to get picked is beyond Marcus. Now...
Sleepy old Aiden Guerra.
Sleepy old Guerra, the Sandman himself.
Yeah. He's tired. He just wants. But look, he does some things well in his later part of his career. What I agree with Marcus Christensen is, a lot of the time our attack went down that edge and the cutout pass found Aiden Guerra. And you're more or less happy that he caught it. But there is no second play. He's not going to offload it. He doesn't have a dynamic running game anymore. He's just a tackler. He missed 6 tackles.
Not good for a tackler.
Made 43, but also he made 6 one-on-one tackles, which is head and shoulders above, more than the Druff, but he's which was above the rest of the playing group. And he is just a bit of a bear hugger. He slows the ruck down. I think that's his strength. Not ball running, but I think we're going to get that a little bit better with Sione this week.
I feel like fantastic. The last 2 weeks, I feel like Aiden's been working like crazy.
He's a worksman.
Like I feel like even if he's not reaching as high as he once could or as other players could, he's still working like a dog to get where he's
That's
at.
it. Yeah. He's busier than that one-armed bricklayer in Baghdad.
Yeah, of course. Well, that one-legged river dancer. One-legged river dancer?
Yeah. Love the one-legged river dancer. Next question, Jared Carl. I think we have discussed this, but we'll touch on it again. Where does Connor Watson come back in if he's back to full fitness? Tex has been solid. Does he drop off the bench to give Watson his place back? Yes, the team announcement did name that. So.
JC, thank you very much for the question. And it's it's an important one because you got Connor Watson who fits that sort of utility, comes on, and I've said that 14 with Tex Hoy, who's not a hooker, who comes in, hooker! He's not one.
Sweet cherry pie.
Apple of your eye. He's a hooker! And he's not one of those. So why do you have him on the bench? It's because we're winning. And winning teams afford to have this sort of utility on the bench. We make it work. Remember back when even we started the season with Brock Lamb coming off the bench with Mitchell Pearson. We said, we're winning a few games. Maybe this is working, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
And he was the first to go. So Connor Watson can play hooker. He is a hooker. And when he comes on, he actually has a role to do, and he fit him into the roster. So I think that's why he edges out Tex Hoy. Although Tex Hoy himself, Mr. Fred Astaire...
Is there a spot for Tex Hoy on the wing?
Well,
Anari Tuala, I think we saw from that lofted pass from Mitchell Pearce.
Yeah.
Anari's used to the shape of playing as a centre.
Yeah.
He wasn't well informed that a winger needs to stand on the wing.
I hope that Tex Hoy stays at the side. And I think he was named on the wing, and then they decided against that. My only concern is that big wingers these days, does he get bullied with the chip?
Which was my concern when they named that he would be marking up on Sevan.
Yeah.
My heart did a little dance when it was informed that he wouldn't be.
Like Fred Astaire.
Like Fred Astaire in my chest. Now, Anthony Hickling. Now, we wanted to discuss this. Anthony asked, should they continue to play Ponga as a playmaker in attack or use him more like a Billy Slater, Tedesco type role backing up the plays? The defence seems to really have Ponga's number lately. I think Anthony's right there about people have got the measure of Kalen Ponga at the moment. They're sending the centres in to cut down his time.
Jam him.
And you know what people are doing that's really rude? They're just hitting him in the head.
They are.
2 HIAs in this one game.
I know.
And he's still named to play.
It's amazing that he's still named to play. But I tell you what.
What a strong brain he's got.
I've got some strong words for our very own... I think that, he hasn't used his resin to fix the crack of Kalen Ponga quite yet. I don't feel like we're using Kalen Ponga to his strengths.
No.
I feel like we're trying to manufacture him into a fullback that he isn't.
Yes.
You see him around the ruck, he hovers like, a helicopter, and he's just waiting for the ball, but they're never going to pass it that high. It's like, come down from there, Kalen. But no, he hovers around the first and second ruck when offloads aren't thrown. I feel like we're gonna see more offloads later in the ruck, and that's when he should be, running through determinedly. But he's just sort of standing there like he's been told to.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're taking him out of his natural game.
And that's it. To use him more like a Billy Slater or a James Tedesco, you've got to change his game. You don't want to change his game. He's very good if he's used correctly. And I don't believe the supporting through the middle fullback role suits him.
I don't feel...
He is the wide running player who will set up his centres, he'll set up Lockie Fitz, he'll set up the wingers.
And I feel like we do it with space. And I don't feel like, just looking at Kalen Ponga's stats, running for over 200 metres, 9 tackle breaks.
In a game where he played badly. That's incredible. A bad game for him is 270 metres and 9 tackle breaks.
I feel like where he plays the best is not inside the 20, but it's inside like the 30. And when we're running with ascendancy of the 40, when the ball goes to him, are we going to kick it? Are we? We put the defence in minds, but when it's a set defence or coming off their own line, jamming in, and they just don't, he's only a boy, Liam.
Just a boy.
And they do, they rough and tumble. Who was the player that nearly killed him twice?
Wonga Blake.
Wonga Blake.
He did it once, and then the other dumb was probably Wonga
Blake again. And then
Who
hit him
knows?
again on the way out in the car. Just ran him over.
Just ran him over. But it's okay. But as we saw, 2 HIAs for Ponga, and he's still fine. Running him over in a car won't do a thing. Ryan Kirby asks, is it a coincidence that our attack losing all potency coincides with the green roof opening back up? Yes.
Yes. As anyone, I just want to say, the green roof has opened up. Nice players are back out again. It's a wonderful place to be.
But you know where this wouldn't be happening?
Wouldn't be the Commonwealth Hotel.
No,
there.
the Commonwealth Hotel would not affect the players' attack.
Wholesome. Homely. So the service, incredible.
Incredible.
You can't beat it. The food, spectacular.
The beer's cold and brown.
The coldest and brownest of all the town. You feel it's welcoming. It's a warmth from that cold night when you walk in there, and you just feel like I never want to leave. But they do have closing hours, and they will politely ask you to leave, as I've been asked to leave several times.
Absolutely, as have I.
And sometimes
But again, very polite.
Sometimes I stay there. They got wonderful rooms upstairs. It's a hotel as well, in the true sense of the word hotel. The Commonwealth Hotel.
Absolutely. Now let's
Newcastle's Nan's house.
Now, let's finish out with a statement from Daniel Turner. Now, I like this one. The way we're playing at the present time, we aren't a top 4 team. I agree. Now, I've lost the train of thought, so I can't finish your question, Daniel. Sorry.
That's right.
A huge part of that is lack of consistency. What do we need to do to achieve the consistency which teams like the Storm and the Roosters are known for?
Cash.
Brown paper bags.
Money.
Yeah.
No, look, it's hard. It's easy for a team to play well, but it's hard for a team to play well again and again and again. I feel like we've played 2 very desperate teams in Manly and in Parramatta the last few weeks, and we're comparing them against times we played like the Broncos, who were just a bag full of assholes. And so it's hard to compare, because you think, why were we looking so potent in attack then, and we look stifled against Parramatta?
Because like you said, the Broncos are a bag of arseholes.
Bag of assholes. Complete bag of assholes is all they have in there, and that's just awful to the extent of which no one wants.
And that's where you get the Twiggy sticks.
No. It's circular.
It's circular. Time is a flat circle, Nagy. Time is a flat circle. Nagy, you got a tip for the weekend against the Rabbitohs?
I think the Newcastle Knights can do it. I think they can do it easy. I think we're going to be scoring.
Easy?
I think they're going to be scoring points against them. Look, I tell you what,
I'm intrigued. You've got my intrigue, Nagy.
I've not been impressed by the Rabbitohs whatsoever.
They have not been overly impressive.
Kate Hines.
Sorry, Kate Hines.
But we're not only going to beat you, but we'll beat you well. I think we can score at least 20 points. The last game was last year, 20-12.
20-12.
Now this comes off a lot. I think we've scrolled further down. They just flog us every other time.
Well,
36-18,
remember the Rabbitohs game last year was after our 1-6, lost to Melbourne, won against the Rabbitohs. It was promised we were going to go on that run towards the finals.
Yes.
We didn't.
But this is the way. Every game's important now. We're coming up to midway through the season. We've done a lot of hard work. We haven't had a series of losses like we did last season. All we have to do now is win the games that we can win.
And we said that to Adam O'Brien. We said, look, every game from now on is important.
And he goes,
the other ones
thanks,
were.
boys. Thanks for
Thanks,
that. I really
boys.
appreciate
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
We told him, we're like, the other ones aren't important. Just from now on.
And we said, while you're there, we've also got a bit of a chip in our windscreen. You can use that special resin of yours.
The beautiful O'Brien glass resin, yes.
I always want to see that in person. They show it at the ad so quickly. And you think, what is it? I thought they just put the sticker over.
That's what I do.
Do
I
they
put a
fix
sticker over it.
What does it look like after the resin?
Heaven only knows,
It's
Nagy.
just glue? Is resin glue?
I think resin is glue. No, resin, it comes out of trees.
Yes! I thought that was something else.
Sap.
Sequel.
Sap.
Yeah.
The word sap.
What's resin?
The sequel's the second movie after the first movie, Nagy.
See if we can find a video of O'Brien resin. O'Brien, send the check. Please. It's wonderful that we can talk about windscreen. A cracked windscreen is very much like the Newcastle Knights.
And not only that, isn't it impressive? Adam O'Brien working 2 jobs to support his family. He's working. Here we go. 6 things to know about an O'Brien replacement.
I think they're just putting a whole new windscreen in there. We don't want a whole new windscreen, Adam. We just want to use your special resin.
That thing.
Fix the cracks.
You know what that looks like? The suction cups that all the villains used to use in cartoons. Oh, that noise is disgusting. It was like...
that's much better than the sucks, the pulling off. We can't find the resin video, but we've all seen it on TV. We've all been a little bit amazed. It's Liam, 5:30 Saturday. Where are we going to watch it, assuming that there's no more COVID lockdowns?
Commonwealth Hotel.
The Commonwealth Hotel is the only place to watch this game. It's going to be fantastic. I couldn't think of anything better than to roll into dinner and to think, well, what am I going to have? Well, I'm already at the best bloody pub in Newcastle. Let's order a feed.
A good feed too.
A good feed as well. But make sure you're seated because there's actually new restrictions coming in.
Yes, of course. Which we don't want to encourage anyone to break any laws or anything.
No.
Break those laws and pack that pub.
Thank you for joining me this week, Liam. Hopefully we come back next week and we're talking about a win against the Rabbitohs and how we're going to roll into the finals like the steamroller that we are, but a little bit quicker than the steamroller because it's a little bit slow.
Very slow.
Thank you for joining us, Justice. We'll catch you then. If you like us, please like us on Facebook and all the social pipes.
Social pipes.
If you've watched us before, you know where the hell to find us. You're actually literally watching us now. Keep watching us wherever you're watching us or listening to us.
And if you're new, good.
Welcome. Goodbye.
Yeah, welcome, whatever. Good.